So, fam, what's up? What's up? What up? Nah, just playing. That's Martin. Okay, but now this is a serious topic. No joking. All right. Now, as you guys can see, look at this title. We are all in slavery. Realize this now. It's a choice. 90% of the population have no choice but to make. Now, this is a little aggressive, but it's the honest, bitter truth. And it's time for you guys to realize this, okay? We are all slaves. You have to go and work your job because there are no fruit trees, there are no animals for you to hunt to provide for food for you and your family. So you have to go and slave to get those resources, to get paper money that's made by someone else. You see what I'm saying? You cannot be self-dependent. The only people that can are people that have farms, people that have trees and fruit trees and vegetables in the ground and all kind of stuff, and animals. That's the only kind of people who can be self-dependent and not slave away. They can work for themselves. While the rest of us, we have to do this. Realize this, okay? I know a lot of y'all been conditioned to think that it's not slavery, but in my last video, I told you guys what slavery and what businesses and what companies actually are. It's just another word for slavery. They just call it something else. A lot of people get so caught up on words and they forget that words were created by somebody. It's not law. It's not the real world that we're supposed to be living in. Since you were born into slavery, you don't know you're a slave. You know what's crazy? When I first was learning about slavery in school, when I was a kid, about my ancestors being slaves, and I heard about them not even knowing that they were slaves. You know what's crazy? The first thing that crossed my mind was, what if the same thing was the case now? And as I got older, I realized that that is the case now. Majority of us are slaves and don't even realize it because we've been conditioned to believe that we're not, and slavery was a long time ago and it's not happening right now. And that's obviously not the case. Now, I'm gonna go to this next page that I prepared. I'm gonna talk about these topics and then we're gonna end the video, all right? Now, we're gonna start this off with chattel slavery. This is what slavery used to be before the current slavery we have now. It used to be term-based and it had an end date. The slavery we have now has no end date. You are born a slave. It meant to pay off debts and punishment for crime. So back then in Africa, they had chattel slavery. And with this chattel slavery, all you did was work in someone's home. You probably like washed their clothes, did some laundry, cleaned their house up, fed their kids, cooked or something. And you did that for a few years, maybe a decade, depending on what you did, depending on how much debt. You probably worked, you did some hard labor for like 10 years or something, then you was free to go. Your kids, you went back home to your kids. You wasn't a slave for the rest of your life. Your kids wasn't slaves. They wasn't a part of that. That was something that you did, you paid for it. Not your entire family, your entire bloodline for the rest of your life. Now, with this slavery, it's inhumane. You have no choice. Goes against the laws of nature. Slavery should not be a thing. It's just a bunch of lazy, disgusting people that don't want to do the work themselves, so they force other people to do it. Literally disgusting. What Africans thought all slavery was, since it's been a thing for them. Chattel slavery been a thing for the Africans. When they were, quote unquote, selling slaves off, they thought, they just finna go, and first of all, what y'all not understanding is, the people that they were selling off were people who committed crimes. It was people who were doing wrong. They was like, we don't need these people anyways. They was gonna be slaves here anyway, so y'all just gonna be slaves over there. That's when the Portuguese, came and kidnapped a bunch of people and were taking people and selling them off. Because they was like, I need a little bit more than this. This market is booming. It's making a lot of money. We need way more slaves than the ones that y'all just giving us. So they started kidnapping people and forcing them into this slavery, not this one that was in Africa. A lot of people like to make a point, oh, they was slaves in Africa. No, it was this slavery. It wasn't this one. Now, the difference is one is like a work contract like today. Keep in mind, we're in this slavery. We're not doing this one. At least back in Africa, when this was a thing in Africa, which this is still a thing in Africa, maybe this is too. When this was a thing in Africa, you worked for a set amount of time and you went back to your life outside of this. In this world, you're this. Most people are never going to get out of this, because the only way to get up out of this is to make enough money to the point where you can be self-dependent and don't have to rely on the government, don't have to work a job and build somebody else's wealth that's outside of slavery. People not understanding. The people that are ultra rich are the slave masters. Everybody up under them are in slavery. The people that are the slave masters, they know this. Why do you think they don't care about your rights? They don't care about making your life harder. They don't care about literally making and passing laws that's literally making your life harder year by year. Why do you think the wage gap between the extremely rich and the extremely poor is widening as time goes on? If we wasn't in slavery, that wouldn't be the case. It's time for y'all to wake up, man. We live in a sick and twisted world. Think about this for a second. Capitalism, all of these different names for these countries, shouldn't a country be, okay, we all should be helping each other grow and be the best we can be. Isn't that the point of being in this world? Growing and evolving and being the best you can be, not literally slaving away your low working class people to the point where they don't have nothing. You have nothing. Look around you. They literally, I forgot the numbers. I should have did my exact numbers before I even made this video. But I know this for a fact. Most people don't own homes. The richest generation is the baby boomer generation. They have everything. They're the only ones who have most of the homes. They have all the money. They have all the resources. Our generation, Gen Z, screwed. And every generation after that is even more screwed than us. It's going to get worse. What's it called again? Inflation. Inflation is going to go up and up and up and up. And it's going to get worse and worse to the point where people realize that we're here. You think the people that was in slavery knew that they were slaves? No. They didn't know for hundreds of years until one day somebody popped up and was like, oh, by the way, you were a slave, you're free now. They like, what the fuck? I was just working. They're like, nah, you was a slave, buddy. Now, let me reiterate what I meant when I said the first company ever was slavery. Like I said before, this was slavery at first. This was the only form of slavery there was at first. There wasn't no this one where you're no end date, you were born as a slave. It was the other way around, chattel slavery. You did a crime, you was punished, all right, you get 5 in slavery. They're like, no, oh, damn it, I know I shouldn't have did that. And that was it. Back then, after that, that wasn't a fact anymore because they ruined it. They literally turned it something sick and twisted. Look at this. The Portuguese shipped around 12 million slaves to America. Between 15 to 30% perished before reaching land. This is crazy. Most of these people jumped off, most of these Africans, my ancestors, jumped off of these ships because they knew that it was inhumane. It wasn't this slavery. It was this one, no end date. You're done. You're going to be a slave for the rest of your life. These people are sick and twisted, man. Sick and twisted. This is literally terrible. They were treating human beings like less than animals. And guess what? You guys are being treated like less than animals. And you're not even realizing this. All of these laws and rules that you're following are being broken every single day by the slave masters. And while you following these rules, they're breaking them every single day. These laws and stuff was made for you to follow, not them. You know this. Look at the Epstein files that came out. It proved and showed that the super rich are doing whatever the hell they want while you're sitting there suffering every day trying to make ends meet. It's time for y'all to wake up, man. Stop believing this bull. There's no such thing as a country. There's no such thing as the United States. If there's such thing as the United States, why is every state have different laws? There's different, if we're supposed to be united, right? It's literally a fallacy. It's time for y'all to wake up, man. It's you. You need to love yourself, take care of yourself, and make sure you're right. Because all this shit is a cap. It's just to keep this in play. It's to keep this going. It's all it's about. They're paying you $20 an hour, $30 an hour, while they're making 1 billion a year, 100 million a month. You think they care about your little smaller wage? Why do you think they don't want you to own a home? They don't want you to grow your own food and plants and be self-dependent. They want you to keep doing and partaking in this. They don't want you to be relying on yourself. And they're going to continue to keep doing this as long as you don't realize that you're in this. You're in this right here. Y'all need to understand this and wake up. And the only reason why I'm coming out and saying this is because you need to know what you're walking into. You need to know that this is what's going on right now. All of us are slaves. Understand this and move accordingly. Get to the point where you can be self-dependent and rely on yourself. Love yourself. Stop partaking in this because you will never be happy. You will never get anywhere in life. Why do you think the marriage rate is terrible? Why do you think no one wants to be with anybody? Why do you think no one is happy? Because they're too busy slaving away to even be happy with themselves. They're too busy slaving away to be in a happy relationship, to be happy with their kids, to take care of their kids properly. Their kids are becoming slaves. Why do you think the birth rate is so low? Because no one wants to bring their kids into this hell. We live in a generation worse than the Great Depression. Do you understand this? This is worse than the Great Depression. They had more spending power than us. That tells you all you need to know. Now, all I'm saying is love yourself, understand that this is what's going on, and move accordingly. Realize this now. Stop acting like you don't see it. Stop acting like it's not here. It's here in the flesh. It's been here. It never went away. It just got called something else. Why do you think they got you distracted on black people this, black people that, black, N-word, 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 N-word. Because they want you to keep remember how they used to be slaves. No, you're a slave too. We're all slaves. Why did they keep us distracted about what all this, race that, to keep us divided so we don't talk about our problems with each other? You're going to start to realize, oh, dang, you're going through the same stuff I'm going through. You getting ripped off just like me. Why do you think they give you a false fallacy of white privilege? It doesn't exist. It's just a here's the bone, dog, so you don't complain. While we keep you in this so you can shut up. That's all it's for. That's all white privilege is for, to keep this going. Because you're a slave too. Dumb idiot. Think about it. Back when slavery was a thing, they made people slave masters so they can keep this going. Now that they call it something else, you're just a slave now. Even back then, you were a part of the system. You were getting screwed over too. You think just because it was slave masters back then, the only people that was even able to be slave masters were certain people. Everybody wasn't a slave master. It was white slaves too. The poor white people, they were slaving away too. It's the poor against the rich, and it's been this way for forever. Y'all need to understand this and wake up out of this little fallacy. Oh, white privilege. Oh, I'm not like the rest of y'all. No, if you don't make $100 million a year, $10 million a year, if you ain't a multi-millionaire, you're right up in here. Even $100,000 don't mean nothing. And let me tell you something. In order for you to even get to that point, you got to put a bunch of people in this. And a lot of people, morals don't line up with that. So they don't want to even want to be a millionaire. I don't want to be a millionaire. I don't want to put a bunch of people in slavery so I can make a bunch of money. I'm okay with not being a millionaire. I can be happy with that because guess what? I'm going to be independent and love myself. And that's my message to y'all. Love yourselves. Be independent. You don't need to partake in this slavery system. You don't need to be a slave. If anything, slave for your love for yourself. That's the only thing you should be slaving for. That's the only way to be happy and fulfilled in life. The only way. As long as you partake in this slavery system, you will never be happy. Because you got to run that hamster wheel for the next dude to get ahead and not you. Because you're a slave. Think about this, people. I'm sure to have a blessed day.